Hi everyone, welcome to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast, your daily audio summary of the latest news reported in the Ukrainian media. Please be aware that due to the power outages, our episodes may be released not as regularly as always. Thank you for staying with us. My name is Artem, and here is the news. 835 days last the Russian invasion of Ukraine. President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky continued his visit to France and traveled to Paris, reports Ukrainska Pravda. There he had a meeting with French President Emmanuel Macron. After the meeting, Macron said that preparations for training Ukrainian pilots and mechanics for Mirage 2000 fighters that France plans to transfer to Ukraine will begin in the next few days. The French president refused to specify the number of Mirage 2000 jets to be supplied to Ukraine and which countries are contemplating their provision. Quote, "I can't say much more. We've always tried to reimburse only when they are already been transported and used. This is more effective. It prevents our adversaries from taking advantage of the information," unquote, Macron concluded. The French president informed that at least 5 other countries have agreed to send instructors to Ukraine to train the Ukrainian troops. Macron reiterated that he views Ukraine's request for military training on its soil as acceptable, particularly given the growth in the number of people mobilized into the army. Quote, "We are not at war with Russia, and we do not want an escalation, but we want to do everything we can to assist Ukraine in its resistance. So when Ukraine requests us to train mobilized troops on its sovereign soil, is this an escalation? No," unquote, he said. The French president went on to say that despite Russia's threats, the West has every right to send instructors to Ukraine because it is not about deploying Western troops to the front line, but about recognizing the sovereignty of Ukraine on its territory. Macron also declared the formation of a coalition that will respond to Ukraine's request to train its troops on its soil, but provided no details. President Zelensky said that he welcomes and supports the initiative of the French president. The president of Ukraine stressed that this is simply an easier and quicker way to train troops compared to taking them abroad. Also, Zelensky and Macron signed agreements to provide help for the repair of essential Ukrainian infrastructure. The agreement envisages the creation of a fund worth 200 million euros intended for those enterprises that will invest in the critical infrastructure of Ukraine for reconstruction. 60 million euros from this fund will be dedicated to the energy sector and its priorities. In France, the Ukrainian leader met US President Joe Biden, reports Radio Liberty. The US president apologized for the months-long delay in the delivery of US military aid, which allowed Russia to gain certain advantages on the battlefield. He stressed that the American people will support Ukraine in the long term. Quote, "We are still in, completely, thoroughly," unquote. Biden announced a new $225 million aid package for Ukraine. Later, the Pentagon has officially revealed some details about it. The package includes in particular missiles for Hawk air defense systems, Stinger anti-aircraft missiles, ammunition for the HIMARS systems, howitzers, artillery ammunition, mortar shells, M113 armored personnel carriers, trailers for transporting heavy equipment, coastal and riverine patrol boats, TOW, Javelin and AT-4 anti-tank systems, ammunition and grenades for small arms, demolition munitions, night vision devices, spare parts, maintenance, and other support equipment. We would really appreciate if you could rate us, ideally with 5 stars, and leave a glowing review in the app where you are listening to this podcast, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and others. This really helps more people to find out about the highlights from Ukraine and truth about Russia's invasion. According to Bloomberg, the German government is considering supplying Ukraine with another Patriot anti-aircraft missile battery to enhance Ukraine's air defense, reports European Pravda. Germany's latest Patriot battery is intended to supplement the 3 that Germany had handed over or pledged to deliver over to Ukraine in the spring, when Russia increased missile strikes on Ukraine. According to Bloomberg sources, Berlin has yet to make a final decision. In May, Germany confirmed that the Ukrainian crew would begin training on the 3rd Patriot air defense system. According to Bloomberg sources, Berlin has yet to make a final decision. In May, Germany confirmed that the Ukrainian crew would begin training on the third Patriot air defense system, which Kyiv were to receive soon. The country also spearheaded the global search for additional air defense systems. Some countries, including the United States and Romania, are considering providing Ukraine with one Patriot battery, while Italy plans to provide the SAMP-T system following the Group of Seven summit in June. Furthermore, the Netherlands declared that the Patriot system would be assembled from the major components and spare parts donated by Ukrainian allies, with the goal of having it operational in Ukraine as soon as possible. Thank you for listening to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast. We're a commercial initiative of just two people and we need your help to grow. Share information about the podcast, rate us in the app, subscribe to our Patreon. With your support, we are getting better. We call on you to demand from governments of your countries to impose the toughest sanctions possible on Russia and its citizens to stop their invasion of Ukraine.